Hello, welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. That afternoon, halfway through her routine laundry duty, Sachi begins to spread out pens and paper on the table. Getting some studying in while you wait?
いえ、今年の夏休みは帰省するタイミングがなかったので、おじさんたちに近況を知らせるお手紙を書こうと思いまして。
Right, now that you mention it, you were adopted by your dad's brother and his wife, weren't you?
はい、おじさん夫婦は昔から優しい人たちでしたし、私のことを引き取ってくれた後も本当の家族のように接してくれて、いくら感謝しても足りないくらいです。
Their own daughter, huh? When someone ends up adopting a niece or nephew, problems of neglect and abuse are sadly common. But from JB's information, Sachi's aunt and uncle were decent people who'd never managed to have a child of their own. I guess she was fortunate in that respect. In that case, I guess there's no reason to sugarcoat it. Might as well tell them how you're really feeling.
はい、学園に転入してきた男の子に日々女としての喜びを教え込まれている、そう書いておくことにします。
Good thinking. I'm sure your uncle will send us a celebratory box of rubbers.
ドラッグストアに行く手間が省けますね。
Okay, this is a joke, right?
もちろんです。そんなことを書いてしまったらおじさん得意の通信空手の出番になってしまうかもしれません。
Well, I did more or less get the sense he was kidding around, but you can never be too careful with this one.
そんなに私の冗談は笑えませんか？
That's not it. I'm more concerned with what you're writing about me.
それなら心配いりません。初恋の男の子と再会して幸せな毎日を送っていますと書きますから。
Your first love, huh? It honestly feels a little awkward to hear that, but it's hardly unpleasant to know that she had feelings for me even back then. 'But while we're on the topic of Sachi's past, there's something that's been weighing on my mind for a while now. Specifically her mother, in a persistent vegetative state ever since the accident. She's still lying in that hospital bed. Sachi has to be aware of that fact, but she's never shown any intention of paying a visit, or even mentioned her mother in the present tense. I can't help but wonder how Sachi feels about her parents now, what she thinks about the cold way they treated her before the accident. That's one part of the story that's still mostly a blank.
ゆうくんがそういう顔をしているときは何か難しいことを考えているときです。
Okay, Sachi, mind if I ask you a serious question?
それは私のお父さんとお母さんに関することですよね。
It's a statement, not a question. Sachi's expression is suddenly very serious. That's right. On the day we destroyed the school, you said they abruptly turned cold. Did something happen between you and your parents back then?
何があったというよりは逆に何もなかったのが問題だったんだと思います。
Nothing happened?
はい、私があの公園でゆうくんと出会うまではお父さんもお母さんもとても優しかったんです。 でもお父さんの実家の工房がテレビで取り上げられたことをきっかけに、私の家の仕事も急に忙しくなって、仕事の手を止めて私の話を聞いてくれたり、休日になれば一緒に遊んでくれるというようなこともなくなり、金型を作る機械の音が一日中鳴り響く家で一人ご飯を食べるということが多くなりました。そして2人が私の相手をしてくれないのは自分の頑張りが足りないせいだと考えて、私は勉強も家の手伝いもそれまで以上に頑張りました。でも私がどんなに頑張っても2人の反応が変わることはなかった。そういうことです。
I see. From what I've just heard, it's easy enough to arrive at a reasonable conjecture. Sachi's parents were just too occupied with work to give her the attention she was craving. Their coldness was probably simple exhaustion. But I can still remember the way Sachi used to talk about them on the playground back then. It's not hard to imagine how hurt and unhappy she must have been. Even so, I remember you saying that you loved them very much just a few weeks ago. Are those your honest feelings? Oh, they definitely are. Sachi averts her eyes, clearly hesitant to answer. There's no doubt that this is a painful question for her. Sachi's relationship with her parents was the root cause of all her suffering. Until she finds some sort of closure about this, I haven't saved her in any real sense.
2人が私のことをどう思っていたかは分かりません。でも私がお父さんとお母さんのことを好きだったという気持ちは変わりません。
I see. The words have the ring of truth. Right now, I think Sachi understands her own feelings with absolute clarity. In that case, maybe helping her escape the loss she imposed on herself was enough. Maybe in breaking free of that defensive shell, she's found something like normality again. Sorry for asking you an unpleasant question, Sachi.
ゆうくんが謝る必要なんてありません。ゆうくんは私に大切なことを気づかせるためにあれだけのことをしてくれました。ですからゆうくんには私のすべてを知っていてほしいんです。
Sachi's words and tone convey something very close to absolute trust. I respond to her earnest feelings by reaching out and gently petting her head. Thanks, Sachi.
Hi.
But if you're that sure of your feelings toward your parents, I guess there's nothing for me to worry about. Go ahead and tell your uncle that you're happy. Sounds like it's true.
ゆうくん。
When you're done writing that letter, let's go drop it off together.
はい。もう遅いから帰っておいで。
Her freshly completed letter in hand, Sachi trots along a step ahead of me. I've come to enjoy hearing this song, knowing that it means she's in a good mood. The gentle, flowing melody inspires relief and contentment. I guess even material can be a valuable source of information every once in a while.
そういえばゆうくんはこの先を少し行ったところに小さな公園があるのを知っていますか？
Yeah, happened to pass by a little while ago on my way to work.
それは残念です。とっておきの情報でゆうくんを驚かせようと思っていたのですが。
That's high quality intelligence in your book?
はい。公園は私とゆうくんにとっては思い出の場所ですから。サチ、お前は本当にすごいやつだ。世界一、いや宇宙一お前のことを愛していると喜んでくれることを期待していました。
Sachi, you really are something else. I love you more than anyone else on Earth. No, more than anyone else in the universe. As I parrot the corny line, I wrap my arms around Sachi and hug her tightly. Hey, Sachi, you planning to say something here?
すみません。あまりの嬉しさに思わず呼吸が止まってしまっていました。
I really wish I could interpret that as a joke. That said, it's kind of a relief that she enjoyed hearing it. I'd been fully prepared for the possibility of something like, I was only joking, you can, that's rather nauseating. Yes, it was worth the gamble.
でも私がゆうくんを驚かせたり何かの勝負で勝つというのは難しそうです。
You're overestimating me. I didn't beat you at extreme typos, did I?
そういえばブランコでどちらが高く上がれるか勝負も連続逆上がり勝負も私の勝ちでした。
What, this is back when we were kids?
はい、あの頃のゆうくんはまだ可愛いという言葉が似合う感じでしたし、私も運動は得意な方でしたから。
I'm not particularly happy about the cute thing, but sounds like we played some pretty fierce games back then.
正確には私が付き合わせたと言った方がいいかもしれませんけど。
True, I've got a pretty strong impression of you as a complete tomboy.
だから靴飛ばしも私が勝ったままなんです。
Shoe kicking?
あ、いえ、何でもありません。
If you say so. Seems like Sachi remembers those days pretty vividly. But unfortunately, my own memories from back then are still pretty indistinct. At this point, that strikes me as a bit of a shame. Well, when we've both got some free time, maybe we can try messing around in a playground again?
それは本当ですか？
Yeah, I'm a little irritated that I can't remember those days as well as you. Making some new memories strikes me as more productive than sulking about it.
2011年9月3日14時16分。
Mind telling me why you're writing down the exact time all of a sudden? Am I under arrest?
今後私がゆうくんを公園に誘っても断られないように証拠として記録しておくんです。
I see, very prudent. It seems you've got a good grasp on my personality.
自分が好きになった人のことですから。
Oh, Sachi, you're silly. Well, so much for the last minute. Sorry, too embarrassing escape route.
ゆうくんとの公園デート、今からとても楽しみです。
Swinging your arms back and forth in evident good cheer, Sachi marches along at my side. Seeing the sincere smile on her face, I can feel my chest growing warm. Wonder if my master used to feel this way when I smiled at her. The thought brings a small, irrepressible smile to my own face. First things first, let's get that letter to the post office. Sachi's tearful mood would last the entire day and well into the night, right until the moment we fell asleep, nestled against the warmth of each other's bodies. Human beings are most vulnerable in moments of celebration. Growing up in a house where a thoughtless smile on my face could earn me a punch to the jaw, I figured that much out before I even graduated from elementary school. Probably because of that, I've always been pretty cautious about making my real feelings too obvious to others. And by the same token, I'm aware of associating carelessness with danger more strongly than most people. I make a conscious effort to stay alert, if not tense, at all times. But as I've just been reminded, true carelessness is something that sneaks up on you. The nastiest surprises always come when you don't even realize you've let down your guard. Jerked involuntarily out of a light sleep, I hear harsh, gasping breathing nearby. It doesn't take long for me to realize that it's Sachi. I instantly reach over and shake her trembling body. Sachi, wake up, Sachi. When I call her name, her eyes slide open quickly enough. Sachi. And a few moments later, she responds in a sluggish voice, a voice tinged with genuine exhaustion rather than typical morning lethargy. This has become a familiar pattern lately. Another bad dream? This was my point of carelessness, Sachi's nightmares. The first night I spent sharing a bed with Sachi became the first morning I saw her groaning in her sleep. Hardly a problem in itself, but since she's been having these nightmares practically every day. And with each passing morning, her suffering seems to be growing worse. When her squirming finally grows strong enough to arouse me, I quickly reach over and shake her awake. Recently, this has become almost routine. Sachi closes her eyes and waits motionlessly for her breathing to grow calm. Is your throat dry? Need something to drink? Slowly sliding off the bed onto her feet, she makes her way directly to my bathroom. This clear exhaustion after the fact is a recent development. At first, she quickly returned to normal, so energetic and cheerful that I'd all but forget about her tossing and turning. Because of that, I was slow to pick up on the fact that something was seriously wrong. But recently, her poor sleep has begun to take its toll. In the last few days, she's been noticeably absent-minded and inattentive, frequently spacing out at random moments. Sachi returns from the bathroom a few minutes later, looking slightly more awake. Can you remember what the dream was about today?
見たくない夢を見たという感覚はあるのですが、内容はよく覚えていません。
I see. This response is familiar as well. Sachi's aware of the nightmares, but so far she hasn't been able to remember the specific details after waking up.
それよりもうすぐゆうくんがランニングに出かける時間です。
Yeah, but
私のことなら大丈夫です。ゆうくんはいつもの日課をこなしてください。
Sachi,
私はその間に朝ごはんを作ってお待ちしていますから。
alright. When Sachi's like this, the world's longest sweater couldn't budge her. Trying to push the issue wouldn't be productive. Reluctantly, I leave my room and head out for my run. Nightmares, huh? Alone on the rooftop of the dorm, I mutter the word to myself. Sachi's gone out shopping for daily necessities. Finding myself with a little free time on my hands, I wandered up here to think things over. Mental exhaustion is a heck of a lot harder to deal with than the physical kind. Doesn't always show on the face. Sachi told me she was quite alright, and it didn't look like she was consciously telling a lie. But that just means the girl isn't fully aware of what these nightmares are doing to her. If anything, that makes the situation all the more troublesome. I need to take action quickly. Bad dreams occur more often when there's something weighing on your mind. This constant barrage suggests Sachi's deeply troubled by something on a subconscious level. To resolve this cleanly, I need to identify the specific cause of those nightmares. But given that she can't provide me with any information on their content, I don't have many clues to work off. I'm not sure where to begin.
あまねの無駄にでかいあの胸には一体何が入っているんだ。
Really pulled out of my ruminations, I turned toward the unexpected interloper. Makina's standing a few feet behind me with a smirk on her face.
どう私とお兄ちゃんのシンクロ率に驚いた。
What are you doing here, girl? Yeah, synchronization rate approximately 2%. Astounding in a way.
そんなの全然嬉しくないのよさ。
Well, what are you doing up here?
ジュースを買いに来たらお兄ちゃんの姿が見えたからちょろっと吹き替えをやってみただけなのよさ。そういうお兄ちゃんこそ何してたの？ もしかして習ってた最中？
That made me laugh, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna guess she means navel gazing. Not really, just thinking about something.
考え事？ユミちゃんのパソコンの壁紙が何の画像になってるかとか？
Definitely a point of curiosity, but no.
じゃあ、サッチーのこと？
What makes you think that?
それは言わずもがな。サチのことで頭がいっぱいだってお兄ちゃんの顔に書いてあるのよさ。
After arriving at this school, I've been thoroughly reminded that a woman's intuition can't be underestimated. Since I've run into something of a dead end here, maybe it wouldn't be such a bad idea to try relying on that natural female perceptiveness. Makina, my friend, I have a favor to ask of you as a woman.
お兄ちゃんの気持 のサッチンは裏切れないのよ。
Sorry to ruin a spectacular fantasy, but I'm not looking for anything like that with you.
だとしたら私に読心術は早すぎたようなのよさ。
Okay, no matter how desperate I might be, turning to Makina for advice might have been a little rash. But then again, she's the same age as Sachi, and the two of them are very close. Sachi might spend more time with Michiru, but her relationship with Makina is more of a straightforward friendship. In other words, there's a decent chance the girl has the information I need. Alright, Makina, allow me to rephrase that. I have a favor to ask of you as Sachi's best friend.
お？なんか急に顔がマジになってるけど、何が聞きたいの？
I need you to answer a serious question. Has Sachi talked to you about having nightmares recently? No, at any point since she transferred in.
悪夢？
Anything come to mind? Even just dreams in general. Try to remember.
サッチンとはいろんな話をしたけれど、そういえば夢の話はしたことがないのよさ。
Have you ever seen her groaning or thrashing around in her sleep then?
残念ながらそういうところも見たことはないのよ。
I see.
そういえば
What, you remember something?
サッチンが行方不明になって病院に入院してた時、一度だけ夢を見てうなされていたことがあったのよ。
Did she say anything in her sleep?
確か何度もごめんなさいって謝って、最後にお父さんお母さんって。
I see.
サッチン、どっか悪いの？
Apparently my concern is pretty transparent. Makina peers up into my face with an anxious expression. She's just been having a lot of bad dreams lately, so I wanted to gather any information I could. It's nothing you need to worry about.
だったらいいのだけれど、もしサッチンに何かあってもお兄ちゃんなら何とかしてくれるって私は信じてるのよ。
Yeah, leave it to me. I drop a hand onto Makina's head and ruffle her hair around a little in my usual way.
ふんじゃ、私はジュースを買ってザリガニに餌をあげてくるのよさ。
Her expression returning to a reassured smile, Makina shows me the jumble of coins in her hand, then trots back inside the dormitory. I'm sorry and mommy, daddy, huh? I had my suspicions, but those keywords make it pretty clear. The dreams have to be connected to the accident that occurred on her birthday. Sachi decisively stated that she still loves her parents, despite their cold attitude toward her near the end. I'd taken that to mean Sachi had reached some sort of personal closure over what happened, but apparently that was wishful thinking on my part. And if Sachi's memories of the past are the cause of her current suffering, JB's executive summary isn't going to be enough. I'm going to need more detailed information about what happened back then. Oh, it's Chizuru.
もうまた年上の女性を呼び捨てにして。
figured I could just keep saying it until you lose the energy to complain.
そんなことはありません。
Anyway, sounds like you were looking for me. What do you need?
ああ、そうそう。あなたと話すときはいつも本題を忘れそうになるわ。
Grumbling pointlessly in her usual manner, Chizuru takes out a thick envelope from under her arm and offers it to me. What's this?
あなた宛ての荷物よ。
A delivery? What, from Ichigaya?
それは差出人を見ればわかると思うわ。
I silently accept the envelope and look for the sender's name in the corner of the label. Komine Akihiro? Komine? Is this?
ええ、秋広さんは小峰さんの保護者であり、俗柄的には小峰さんのおじさんにあたる人よ。
Why would Sachi's uncle send me a package? What's in this thing?
それは私にもわからないわ。私はただそれを風見くんに渡して伝言を伝えてほしいと頼まれただけだから。
A message?
ええ、荷物のことで話したいことがあるから、もしよければ電話をかけてほしいって。
Sends a package to someone he's never met, and now he wants a phone call too? I don't get it.
あなたと小峰さんは小さい頃に会っていたから、幼い頃に面識があったんじゃなかったの？
No, I never went to Sachi's house. Didn't even meet her parents, let alone her uncle.
そう。だとしたら確かに変な話ね。
Yeah. In the first place, how does this man even know I exist? Oh, wait, that's right. I do have an idea what this might be about.
何かあったの？
Yeah, Sachi just recently sent her family a letter about how things are going. Said she was mentioning me.
なるほど。それで風見くんの名前を知って、あなたと話をしてみたくなったという可能性はあるかもしれないわね。
Maybe, but even if he knows who I am from the letter, I don't understand why he'd suddenly send a package directly to me. If Sachi told him a little more than she should have, there's always the possibility he might be looking to give me a stern parental talking to. In any case, since I'm currently in need of detailed information regarding Sachi's past, this is a convenient coincidence.
どうする？あなたにその気があるなら、預かっている番号を教えるけど。
Alright, yeah, I'll give him a call. From the look of this number, he's not in the Tokyo area. Back in my own room, I look over the scrap of paper Chizuru handed me, cell phone in hands. Whatever the contents of the envelope may be, it's clear that Sachi's uncle has something he wants to tell me. No reason to think too hard. I'll know once we talk. After one final attempt at persuading myself, I enter the number from Chizuru's note on my private cell phone.
Hi, Komine desu ga.
When the call connects, I hear the voice of a seemingly mild-mannered, middle-aged man on the other end of the line. Am I speaking with Komine Akihiro-san?
ああ、私が秋広だが。もしかして君が風見雄二君かい？
Yes, I apologize for not introducing myself.
いや、見知らぬ相手にいきなり電話をかけろと言われたんだ。警戒して当然だよ。
I appreciate your understanding.
それで、封筒の中身はもう見てくれたかい？
No, I thought it might be best to hear what you have to say first.
確かにそうだね。じゃあ、今開けてみてもらえるかな。
Certainly. As instructed, I rip open the thick envelope Principal Tachibana handed to me on the rooftop. Inside, I find a single metal key, weathered with age. This would seem to be...
鍵が一本出てきただろう。
Yes, that's correct.
それはね、サチの実家の隣に立っている工場の鍵なんだよ。
The workshop?
それを君に託したいと思ってね。
I understand what you're saying, sir, but why would you give this to me?
ああ、これはすまない。まずはそれを話すのが先だったね。
I'd appreciate some clarification, yes.
私はね、風見くん、この前届いた手紙を見て驚いたんだよ。
Shocked?
ああ、私とサチが最後に話したのは、あの子が行方不明になった事件があった後のことで、その時に時間が取れるようだったら夏休みに帰ってくるといいという話をして別れたんだ。だがお盆を過ぎてもサチが帰ってくることはなく、連絡一つない。それでさすがに私も家内も心配になって電話をかけてみようかという話になったところで、あの手紙が届いた。そして中を見てみれば、私たちが驚くようなことがたくさん書いてあった。昔のように生き生きとした文章で、友達のことや学園での思い出が綴られていて、最後には、だから私は今幸せです。そう書いてあったんだよ。
You don't say.
他にも幼い頃に遊んでいた男の子と再会して彼女にしてもらったと嬉しそうに書いてあってね。その子がどんなにすごい男の子なのかが熱心に書かれていた。それが風見くんだったんだよ。
I see, so that's how you learned about me.
ああ、おそらく君はもう気づいていると思うが、あの子は幼い頃に目の前で起こった事故が原因で他人の頼みを断れない子になってしまった。そしてまるでロボットのようになってしまったあの子は、普通の学園での生活は困難と判断されて、美浜学園への入学を余儀なくされたんだ。
Yes.
そんなサチがあんな手紙を送ってきたんだから、本当に驚いたんだよ。そしてサチを変えてくれたのは風見くん、君なんだろ？
No, I only gave her the opportunity to realize something about herself. If the Sachi you knew has changed, Akihiro-san, it's entirely the result of her own efforts.
そうか。だったら改めてお礼を言わせてもらうよ。ありがとう、風見くん。
As I said, you really don't owe me any thanks.
若いのに謙虚だね。
You're very kind, sir.
それで私がその鍵を君に送った理由なんだが、私たちはあの子に一つだけ黙っていることがあるんだよ。
Is that so?
ああ、あの子を襲った事故が起きたのは10歳の誕生日の日だったということは知っているかい？
Yes, she's told me that much herself.
それなら話が早いんだが、私が君に送った鍵はその日サチの母親のポケットの中から見つかったものだ。
Did she have the key to their house as well?
いや、二人のポケットから見つかったのは工場の鍵だけだった。そう考えると少し妙だと思わないかね。
I have to agree, yes. Typically, people keep their most frequently used keys together on a single ring. And since her parents had left the house, presumably planning to bring their daughter back home, grabbing the key to their workshop doesn't really make sense.
私は事故が起こる1週間前に弟の家を訪ねていたんだが、その時弟がこんなことを言っていたんだよ。もうすぐ兄さんをびっくりさせるような報告があるんだってね。
Your jaw drop?
結局それが何なのかは聞けずじまいだったが、弟は工場で何かをしているようだった。
Are you saying you haven't entered the workshop yourself since the accident?
弟の葬儀やサチの母親の容体もあって、私がその鍵を使ったのは随分後になってからだった。
What was inside?
君はサチと両親の仲がうまくいっていなかったと聞いているかい？
Yes, from what she's told me, the family business was featured on television. Things became very busy, and they stopped paying much attention to her.
あの時はどうしても手が足りなくて、私も何度か手伝ったことがあったくらいだったんだ。
Is that so?
弟はね、男3人兄弟の末っ子で、兄弟からも両親からも一番甘やかされて育ったんだ。だから自分にも子供ができたらうんと甘やかしてやるんだって、そう言っていてね。実際あの子のために納期を遅らせたり仕事をキャンセルしたりするのはしょっちゅうだった。
Sounds like quite the doting parent.
そんな弟がどんな思いでがむしゃらに頑張っていたのか、工場の扉を開けた時それが伝わってきたよ。
And you're saying Sachi doesn't know?
あの子は自分がいい子にしていなかったせいであの事故が起こってしまったと思い込んでいてね。事故の直後は両親の話をしただけで吐き出してしまうくらい罪の意識を感じていた。それで心療内科の先生とも相談して、実家にはなるべく近づけない方がいいということになったんだ。ただいつか真実とも向き合える日が来た時のために、工場はあの日のまま私が管理しているんだよ。そう言うと聞こえはいいが、弟はいくつかパテントも取っていて、その利益で固定資産税を払っているだけなんだけどね。
It's been sitting like that ever since the day of the accident.
ああ、でもあの手紙を書けるようになったのなら、ちゃんともうその日が近いんじゃないかと思ってね。
And therefore, you sent me this key.
ああ、 今のサチのことを一番理解している風見くんがその必要があると判断したなら、その鍵を使ってほしい。
Are you really comfortable leaving something this important to my judgment?
これは既婚者の勘だが、サチは風見くんのことをとても信頼している。そのことがあの手紙からは伝わってきた。だからこそその判断ができるのは君しかいないと思ったんだよ。風見くんも急にこんな話を聞かされて困惑しているかもしれないが、サチは私たちにとっても大切な子だ。できることならこの先の人生が幸せであってくれることを望んでいる。その思いが風見くんにとっても同じだとしたら、その鍵を受け取ってほしい。
Alright, in that case, I'll accept it.
そうか。やはり君に託すことにして正解だったな。
What makes you say that?
親の勘ってやつさ。
If you say so.
君との初めての話がお願いになってしまって心苦しいが、今度サチが家に帰る機会があったら、その時は風見くんも一緒に来ておくれ。家内ともども歓迎するよ。
Of course, I'd be honored.
ああ、それじゃあありがとう風見くん。
Yes, and thank you, sir. As our call comes to an end, I give a pointless little bow of the head to Sachi's uncle. Can't help but offer a little respect to a man who shows such sincere trust in a youngster he's never even met. Most likely, Sachi and her parents had their signals crossed, and everything should have been cleared up that very day. I'd vaguely suspected something of the sort, but Komini Akihiro's story has left me pretty firmly convinced. From the sound of things, there's a decent chance that workshop holds the answer that will unravel Sachi's painful misunderstanding. Assuming that these nightmares are connected to her sense of guilt about the past, I'll almost certainly need to take my chances and make use of this key. That said, right now, I don't think Sachi could accept what she'd find there. My dreams are always the same, but not today. Today, I dreamed of a girl in a small, dim room, weeping and wailing. When I squinted my eyes against the darkness, I realized that the girl cowering on the floor was Sachi. Sachi, but not the Sachi I know. Her legs were locked in thick chains, binding her to a massive ball of iron. She couldn't stand, couldn't even drag herself along the rough floor. Even so, she struggled and squirmed, desperately trying to escape the heavy fetters biting into her flesh. But no matter how hard she tried, the cold iron wouldn't yield. Every twist and turn only brought more anguish. In the end, she stopped trying. Sachi was sealed in that gloomy prison with no chance of escape, and I was powerless to help her. I could only watch her, exhausted and hopeless, slowly wasting away. Oddly enough, I'm freed from that despairing nightmare by the same thing that announced its arrival, the sound of Sachi screaming. The ear-splitting shriek jolts me awake, adrenaline coursing through my veins.
何これ
Twisting to my side, I immediately understand that the final scream was all too real. Sachi is clutching at her arms as if to embrace herself. Her clenched teeth audibly chatter against each other. Hold on, this is... It doesn't take long for me to realize the abnormality of the situation. Sachi admitted that she's been having nightmares lately, and I knew they were leaving her dispirited and exhausted. As of yesterday, the situation didn't seem like an outright emergency, but these symptoms are all too clearly something else entirely. She's experiencing pain and terror well beyond what a mere bad dream can offer. Sachi's eyes are wide open, tears streaming relentlessly down her cheeks, a contorted grimace frozen on her face. It's the expression of a human being forcibly shown a gruesome memory they'd like nothing more than to forget. Even as these alarming thoughts run through my head, Sachi continues to grind out apologies like a broken wind-up toy. I don't know exactly what she's seeing right now, or what triggered her to suddenly enter this state. But whatever the answer to those questions may be, I can't allow this to continue even a second longer. Hey, Sachi, wake up. I shout her name at point-blank range, to no effect. She continues to mutter deliriously, staring right through me. Sachi, snap out of it! Sachi! Even when I shake her by the shoulder almost too vigorously, the light doesn't return to her clouded eyes. What do I do? How do I make her hear my voice? In the end, only one thing comes to mind. Wrapping my arms around Sachi, I envelop her in a gentle hug. It's alright. It's alright. Keeping my voice as calm as possible, I whisper reassuring words in her ear. Just like my master used to do for me. Using the simple warmth of my body, more real than words can ever be, I speak directly to Sachi's heart. In time, Sachi's previously frantic breathing begins to slow, and the violent trembling of her body gradually subsides. Finally regaining her consciousness, Sachi looks up at me with the eyes of a disoriented child. You alright, Sachi? You were having a nightmare until just a second ago, a pretty terrible one. That dream?
何でもありません。それより、ゆうくんにお見苦しいところをお見せしてしまいました。小峰幸、一生の不覚です。
When I try to prod the conversation forward, Sachi avoids the subject with a forced attempt at humor.
というわけで、
What is going
ちょっと顔を
on?
洗いに。
Hold it, Sachi. I reach out and catch Sachi's arm as she tries to flee. What's torturing you like this?
苦しめられているなんて大げさです。また、ちょっと怖い夢を見ただけですから。
The girl's doing her best to put up a tough front, but she's still too visibly shaken for it to be halfway convincing. That's a lie. The way you were screaming just now, that wasn't just a bad dream.
やっぱりゆうくんに隠し事はできませんね。
Mumbling resigned words in a wry tone of voice, Sachi turns back to face me and slowly lowers herself to a sitting position on my bed. In other words, I was on the money.
はい、私の場合は過去を追体験するフラッシュバックという症例に該当するそうです。初めてお医者さんに見てもらった時、そう言われました。
I see. This is one of those times where being right isn't particularly pleasant. I'd been so pleased with myself for saving Sachi. Self-centered as it may be, this feels like some cosmic slap to the face. Like someone's telling me, you haven't saved anyone yet. There's a sharp, bitter stab of pain somewhere deep in my chest.
すみません。私、ゆうくんに嘘をついてしまいましたね。
No, you don't need to apologize for that. I understand that she couldn't bring herself to volunteer the truth out of concern for me. To criticize her for that, you'd have to be an oblivious idiot or a genuine sadist. But I do want to know what's making you suffer like this.
それは
Stopping in mid-sentence, Sachi lightly bites her lower lip. From the expression on her face, just thinking about it must be enough to send some painful images flashing through her head.
ゆうくんは私の誕生日に起こった事故のことを知っているんですよね。
I know what they wrote on their reports at least, not much more. From what I read, a drunk driver ran a red light on the road outside the park where the two of us used to play, hitting your parents at full speed.
はい。その結果、全身を強く打ったお父さんは即死。そしてお母さんは
Survived, but fell into a persistent vegetative state. She's still hospitalized to this day.
はい、その通りです。
Are you telling me you've been reliving the precise moment you witnessed that accident over and over?
そうなんだと思います。ゴムが焼ける嫌な匂いも、いつまでもアイドリングを続けるトラックのエンジン音も鮮明に感じられますから。でも私が本当に怖いのはたった一つの言葉なんです。
A word?
はい。トラックにはねられた直後、お母さんにはまだ意識がありました。そして自由に動かなくなった体を懸命に動かして顔を上げると、すっかり足がすくんでしまっていた私にお母さんはこう言ったんです。サチ、どうしてって。それは私にとってとてもショックな言葉でした。どうして今日はお家にいてくれなかったの？どうしてもっといい子でいてくれなかったの？私たちがこんな目にあったのは全部あなたのせいなのよ。そう言われているような気がして。だから私が病院のベッドで目を覚ました後、お母さんが助かったと聞かされて、最初に怖いって思ってしまったんです。本当ならよかったってそう思うはずなのに。 もしお母さんが目を覚ましたら、その口から私を憎むような言葉が出るんじゃないかって。それが怖くて、退院した後もずっとお見舞いにすら行けなくて。お父さんやお母さんから恨まれないような子に少しでもいい子にならなくちゃって、そう思って。
I don't think Sachi's ever shared these feelings with anyone else. In parallel to this cascade of raw, honest emotion, a constant stream of tears flows down her cheeks. That's enough. As words finally fail her, I embrace her trembling body. I'm sorry for making you talk about something you didn't want to remember.
いえ、私の方こそすみません。でも、もう少しだけこのままでいさせてください。すみません。もう大丈夫です。
A little after the sun begins to peak above the horizon, Sachi lifts her face from my chest and smiles at me. You're not lying this time, are you?
はい。ゆうくんから元気をもらいましたから。
Alright. Determining that her smile isn't artificially plastered on her face, I slowly release Sachi's body.
ゆうくんに頭を撫でてもらえると嬉しくなりますが、抱きしめられるとゆうくんのことがもっと好きになってしまうんですね。
This blatant attempt at flattery isn't going to earn you any head petting.
頭を撫でてもらい損なったのは残念ですが、お世辞じゃありません。まごうことなき真実です。
That effect?
はい。
Feeling the warmth of the person you love is a comfortable, calming thing, enough to make you want to forget all the rest. That said, I can't just let the discussion from before drop. I hesitate awkwardly, unsure how to proceed, but after a moment of silence, Sachi resolves my dilemma by speaking first.
きっとあの夢は私への罰なんです。
Punishment?
はい。仕事が忙しくなってからお父さんとお母さんが私に冷たくなったことはお話ししたと思いますが、事故が起こったあの日、お父さんとお母さんはそれまでが嘘のように優しかったんです。
Affectionate, huh?
はい。あの日、私が目を覚ますといつも聞こえてきていた機械の音がしないことに気づいたんです。それが気になってリビングに顔を出すと、お父さんとお母さんが並んでテーブルに座っていました。そして今日はサチの誕生日だからみんなでお祝いしようと、そう言ってくれたんです。私はその言葉に驚きました。どうして急に二人が優しくなったんだろう。これは夢だろうか。でもすぐにそれが現実だということに気づきました。そしたら急に腹立たしくなってきたんです。今までどんなに私が頑張っても振り向いてくれなかったのに、それなのに誕生日の日だけ優しくするなんて、そんなの都合が良すぎる。そう思った私は すぐに家を飛び出しました。そして私はゆうくんとの待ち合わせ場所だった公園に向かい、夕方になっても家に戻らない私を心配して探しに来たお父さんとお母さんは、
I see. That explains how Sachi convinced herself the accident was her fault.
だから私がどんなに後悔しても、どれだけいい子でいようとしても、あの日に事故が起こったという事実は消えません。そしてそれはどうしようもないくらいに子供だった自分のせい。あの日の事故は私が二人の言うことを聞いていれば起こることのないものだったんです。だからきっとその原因を作った私のことをお父さんとお母さんは恨んでいる。そう思っている限り、私はあの日の夢を見続けるんだと思います。
And from the sound of things, she's still blaming herself even now. The tone of her voice is almost resigned, as if accepting a responsibility. But that doesn't mean she's come to terms with what happened. She's simply despaired of ever finding forgiveness. The proof is written on her face. Even as Sachi speaks calmly of the past, her expression is filled with bitter regret. Alright, I understand where this is coming from. But there's still one thing I don't get. Up until just recently, I'm pretty sure you weren't having daily nightmares, let alone traumatic flashbacks. What happened? Do you have any idea why they've gotten so bad?
それは多分今の私が幸せを感じているからなんだと思います。私がフラッシュバックに悩まされていたのは事故の直後がほとんどで、いい子でいようと決めた後はフラッシュバックも悪夢を見る回数も徐々に減ってきていたんです。でもこの学園でゆうくんと再会してから、自分の間違いに気づいて大切な人と一緒にいられるという幸せな時間を実感するようになってから、またあの日の夢を見るようになった。だとしたらお父さんとお母さんが私のことを怒っているのかもしれません。
In other words, you're saying your parents don't want you to be happy.
もちろんこの考えは私の勝手な思い込みかもしれません。でも自分たちはこんなに苦しんでいるのに、どうしてお前だけが笑っているんだ。自分のわがままで家族の幸せを壊した張本人が幸せになっていいのか。あの日のことを忘れるな。そう言われているような気がするんです。
Alright, I understand. I committed the sin of disobedience. My selfishness led directly to that accident. Of course, my parents would resent my happiness. Her father's dead. Her mother's still asleep in a hospital bed. They can neither confirm nor deny that belief, let alone offer Sachi their forgiveness. With no possibility of resolution, your sense of sin swells grotesquely inside you like an ugly black tumor. I really do understand. The circumstances were very different, but I carry similar feelings about the deaths of my own parents. Unless you know a way to turn back time, the debts you owe to the dead can never truly be repaid. They can never accept your apologies or excuses. Sachi too realized that harsh truth. Desperate to escape the torture of her flashbacks, she reduced herself to a shell of a human being. Numbing her own feelings, she overrode her identity with that of the good girl. And it worked. The nightmares left her. But thanks to my meddling, Sachi's returned to normality. Once again, she's defenseless against her dreams. It makes sense. There are two specific elements that contribute to these awful nightmares. First, Sachi never had the chance to hear her parents' explanation for their cold behavior. And second, she continues to believe, on some half-rational level, that the accident was her fault. Her guilt and fear of her parents' hatred feed off her own happiness. In other words, if she wants to stop seeing these nightmares, she has to stop being happy. Sachi seems to have half convinced herself that suffering like this is just the price she has to pay, but I'm not enough of a masochist to accept that. I'm not about to put up with the girl I love being miserable. No, forget not miserable. If at all possible, I want her to be the happiest person in the world. I think that's only natural. And precisely because I carry a burden similar to hers, I might be able to teach her a thing or two. Our burdens may be similar, but we're carrying them very differently. There's no reason to let your sin chain you to the ground. There's no need to lock yourself up in a dark room forever. It doesn't do anyone any good. And most of all, if I'm not mistaken, Sachi has an obligation to become happier than anyone else. Sachi, are you really alright with that? Are you really satisfied with this, tortured by nightmares, living every day in terror of your mother's words?
それは
Caught off guard by my challenge to the status quo, Sachi casts her eyes down in bewilderment. She can't find the words, but the answer's written on her face. Of course I don't want to see the nightmares, but there's nothing I can do. Personally, I don't think there's any reason you need to be tied down by the past any longer.
過去に縛られる必要がない。
That's right. Keeping that in mind, I'm going to tell you a way to get rid of those nightmares that are giving you so much trouble. What you do with that knowledge is up to you. What, you don't believe what I'm telling you?
はい、私が過去に縛られる必要がないってユウくんが考えているだけでもびっくりなのに、悪夢の解決方法を教えるだなんて。
Guess it might be hard for you to believe, having lived with that guilt for so long. That said, I really don't think you need to drag it around anymore, and I'm not lying about knowing the way out.
じゃあ、本当にそんな方法が。
That's right. There's only one thing for you to do about these nightmares. Kill the source. They're going an interesting direction with the rest of this route. Bye.